Hi, my name is Vitali, and I run a website called thenatureseeker.com where I explore beautiful places such as this one over here. This is Hole in the Wall. It's in Vancouver Island. And here's another one called Secret Beach. It's in Oregon. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about Coyote Gulch because I went there in early February of 2020 and I had a very fun but also very disappointing experience because I got lost. I didn't really know how to navigate the trail properly. And if you're planning on going into Coyote Gulch, I really want to share with you my experiences and a good way to navigate around this area so you don't get lost, so you basically don't go through the dangers and the bad experiences that I did, so that you have a good time and that you see beautiful places that are down there, such as the Coyote Natural Bridge, which is this over here, and the very famous Jacob Hamlin Arch. Coyote Gulch is a very beautiful place, but it's also very, very remote. I did a lot of research before I went into Coyote Gulch. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, I checked out a lot of sites, forums, and all that sort of stuff. And the thing about Coyote Gulch is that it's very easy to get lost there because there's multiple areas where you can enter into Coyote Gulch and depending on what you're looking to do, whether it be a day hike, an overnight trip, maybe a marathon run through all of Coyote Gulch, really determines which trail you should start off at. And at the same time, as you're on these trails, it's actually easy to get lost because the landscape changes very quickly in Coyote Gulch. It's one of the reasons why I got lost. And I wasn't very experienced with that stuff, and I just want to help you avoid that kind of thing. So before I show you the structure of this stuff, I just want to say that with all the information that I took from the different places that the different sources that I checked out on Coyote Gulch, it was almost as though I had bits and pieces of Coyote Gulch, but I didn't have a clear full picture of what to do and where to go. And I really think of this video that I'm making right now as that clear picture that you can use in your adventures. If it helps, that's awesome. If not, you still have plenty of sources that I will link to below this video that will help you as well. Anyway, some quick tips about Coyote Gulch. If you decide to go there during the spring or summer, go there super duper early because it gets extremely hot and it's in the desert, and you should wear a hat, bring a lot of water, and be in good shape because it's very easy to get affected by heat strokes, and again, the hot weather is really going to be affecting you. It's dry weather, and I don't really recommend going there during the spring or summer seasons. Fall and winter is probably better because the temperatures are going to be a lot lower and it's going to be much easier for you to deal with the heat. Also, you're going to have to drive on a very rocky road called Hole in the Rock Road for about 30 miles, and because it's a very rocky road, you're going to have to take at least an hour, if not more, to drive on that road. So make sure you're on a four-wheel drive car. If you're going to go there, it'll make the driving process much more easier and much more safer. I also recommend you go with someone if you're inexperienced because there is safety in numbers, and it's just safer in general. If you plan to go on an overnight trip, such as camping in there, make sure that you get a permit because you do require that. If you want to go there for a day hike and get out of there before the day ends, you don't need a permit for that. And now that I've said these tips, let me give you the overall map, structure, and the different trail options that you have, and you're going to be able to have an easier time navigating through Coyote Gulch as a result. So let me start off by showing you this right here. This is the general map on Google that you'll find of Coyote Gulch. Now, this point right here that I'm showing you to this point right here, this zigzag area, all of this is Coyote Gulch right here, okay? Now, this point, this point, this point, and this point are all different areas where you can park at to hike into Coyote Gulch. So this is the first option right here. This is the second option. Here's another one. And here's another one where you have two options to get into it. Now, in order to access any of these parking trails, which will take you to the trails into Coyote Gulch, you're going to have to go through this road over here called Hole in the Rock. It's just one road, which you're going to follow. Now, let me just start from the very beginning. It's going to start from road 12. So whether you're coming in from the east, from the west, or the east, they're going to intersect in this road. And this is called Hole in the Rock. It's also identified as BLM 200, so that's another way that they identify it if you take a GPS. And you're going to follow this road down. Now, as you follow this road down, you're going to see some attractions such as the Zebra Slot Canyon. If you want to stop there, you're certainly welcome to, as well as two other attractions called Peekaboo Slot Canyon and Spooky Slot Canyon, which are very fun hikes from what I know. I haven't been there, but I know they're very fun from the videos that I've seen. As you continue, you're going to reach a trail area which you're going to be able to turn into and begin one of the first. This is a parking area. You can begin the hike from there. This is about 7 miles. Then there's another hiking area, another parking area over here as you continue on Hole in the Rock. Now, to access this area and this area, there's going to be a turn off on Hole in the Rock Road, which will take you to this area and then this area. It's called BLM 270, I believe. But now let me show you a bit of a clearer picture. This is something that I took a screenshot of, which is the actual Coyote Gulch area and the trails. And the orange areas are just basically the most common trails that people take. The first one is Red Well. So that's going to be, as you're driving on Hole in the Rock Road, Red Well is going to be right over here. As you park on Red Well, you're going to want to take the 7-mile hike to a place called Confluence. And Confluence is right over here, and this is basically where Coyote Gulch officially begins. From Confluence, you can get to Jacob Hamlin Arch. It's about a mile and a half to get there. This is what Jacob Hamlin Arch looks like. And then from Jacob Hamlin Arch to get to Coyote Natural Bridge, which is this area over here, that's going to be about another mile and a half. So 7 miles to hike to the gulch, and then about another 3 or 4 miles to see the most beautiful spots. The next option is, if you don't decide to go through Red Well, the next one is going to be Hurricane Wash. And Hurricane Wash is actually considered to be one of the easiest trails to go into Coyote Gulch from, because it's fairly straightforward. It's one that many people take. It's said to be very scenic, and that's another option that you can take. So from Hurricane Wash to get to Confluence, which is the start of Coyote Gulch, is about 6 miles, so it's a little bit shorter than Red Well. And as you go through here, it begins Coyote Gulch, and then you're welcome to check this out for as long as you want. Now this one I'm skipping over just for a moment. I'll be showing you what that is in just a bit. But the next one is called Coyote Gulch Access Point. This is where my GPS took me to. Now from here, there's an eastern trail that goes for about 2 miles, and it takes you to something called Crack in the Wall. And Crack in the Wall is going to involve you having to go through a narrow passageway into Coyote Gulch, which is going to take you to the eastern end of it, from where you're going to want to turn left, and that's going to take you through all of Coyote Gulch. So if you take any of these 3 trails that I showed you, which is Crack in the Wall, or Red Well, or Hurricane Wash, it's recommended that you go for an overnight trip, because these are very long areas. You're going to have to go for 20 miles or so. If you're someone that's crazy good in shape and you want to do like a marathon jog and run through these trails and go into Coyote Gulch and then back, I suppose you're welcome to do that. Obviously, judge it based on what your physical level is. I recommend you take it easy if you go on any of these 3 trails. Now, if you want to go for a day hike, where you basically get there super early and you leave before the sun sets, I'm going to show you 3 more trail options that you can take. They're so much shorter to get into Coyote Gulch. You won't be able to see all of it unless you choose to. But the only problem is the trails that take you to the actual gulch itself, while they're very short, they all get together in this one point where you have to climb down on a rope via a very steep slope. And let me just show you what these options are. So the 3 options are Moki Stairs, which is also known as the sneaker route. This is considered to be the shortest route to Coyote Gulch. There's a parking area over here, and then for about 2 miles you're going to walk over here, where you have to climb down to Coyote Gulch. The second one is the water tank route. So real quick, I just want to say that if you're taking Hole in the Rock Road, you're going to have to make a left turn, which will take you to the water tank area and then Coyote Gulch access point. This one and this one that I just showed you. So there's going to be one road that takes you to these places. You won't really see an official sign for the water tank trail, but you will see an official sign for the Coyote Gulch access point. If you follow this one, there's only one road over here. So as you go to Coyote Gulch access point, if you're using your GPS, you will see the water tank on your left. And here's actually a picture of what this looks like. There's a trailhead option over there, and many people choose to take the water tank route to Coyote Gulch. You're going to follow the trail. It's going to take you to basically these rocky areas, and the rocky areas are going to have these rock markers, like people stack rocks together, and they're called markers, and you're going to use those markers to get to it. I do recommend you bring a phone with you and install a compass app on it, just to make sure that you're traveling the right way. So as I was traveling on one of these trails, I was making sure that my compass, for example, if I started over here and I started going east, which was the wrong way, I had to turn back, and then I went this way, which was west. So I was making sure that the compass was showing me that I was pointing west, just to basically make sure that I was safely going there. And then you also have Coyote Gulch access point, which is very similar to the water tank route. You just follow this west-northwest, and the water tank trail is also going to take you there. This is about a 2.5 mile hike. Moki Stairs is about 2 miles, and the water tank trail is also about 2 miles. Now these 3 trails are going to, like I said before, take you to a specific point where you're going to have to scale down. There's pretty much all of Coyote Gulch is almost impossible to scale down on rope, except this one area where those 3 trails connect together. Now, as you're going through to Coyote Gulch, there's going to be a huge drop, and in only one of those areas is where it's safe to go down on rope. I mean, it's not really safe, but it's doable. And that area, the way that you know that you're in the right spot is you have to look for a white marker. I'm going to show you what this white marker looks like. just show you what that is. This is it. This was a picture of me. Those 3 trails take you to this point right here, and there's that marker. You're going to look for that marker on the canyon wall, and it looks like a white bird or whatever you want to call this. Once you find this, that's how you know that this is the place to scale down. And any other place that's around that's not in this area is almost impossible. It's just deadly to go down. I wouldn't do it at all. You have to go here and you have to scale down on a rope, but you're going to have to look for this if you take any of these 3 trails. So these 3 trails are going to lead you to this spot over here. You're going to look for the white sign over here, and you're going to use the rope to climb down. Now, you're going to see videos of people climbing down on rope in this specific area. Some of them do it without rope. I don't recommend that. If you're scared of heights, maybe you want to take one of the other trails that I showed you, which is Redwell, Hurricane Wash, or Crack in the Rock. It's a lot more safer, but it's a lot longer. So judge it based on how on what your level is, whether or not you're scared of heights, and that's just basically the different options that you have. In my opinion, Coyote Gulch is awesome, but it's also very easy to get lost, and it could also be very dangerous if you're not careful. So please exercise the steps that I told you about, which is, bring a lot of water. Make sure that you look at these maps that I showed you. I will leave a link to them below this video so you can use them as resources. And if you have any questions about Coyote Gulch, or you want to share your experiences and tips, perhaps if you're an advanced hiker of this area, I would be more than happy to, for you to share that. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a safe trip through Coyote Gulch if you decide to go. Thanks for watching.